What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I wanted to talk about some New York Jets coaching staff updates. We'll start with guys who are officially out. No surprise, but praise the Lord, Keith Carter and Ben Wilkerson. Keith Carter, the offensive line coach, Ben Wilkerson, the assistant offensive line coach, are out. Keith Carter was the O-line coach in 23 and 24. I did not like that hire to begin with, and a big reason for it was some of his past players had some really negative things to say about Keith Carter and how he ran practices and just kind of the coach that he was in Tennessee. He comes to the New York Jets, and in 2023, their offensive line was just an unmitigated disaster. Sure, injuries did play a part of it, but I just felt like they were never able to develop anyone on this offensive line. You look at, like, Elijah Vera Tucker never took that next step. Injuries, maybe you could say, is the factor, but you had Max Mitchell, mid-round swing in 2022, doesn't develop. Carter Warren, mid-round swing in 2023, doesn't develop, pretty ineffective. I just don't think he did a very good job with this offensive line. I'm excited for just somebody new to come in here, and hopefully they have significantly more success than what Keith Carter did as the offensive line coach the last 2 years. Here's an interesting one. The Jets are interested on the offensive side of the ball for David Blau as their quarterback coach. Now, he's a youngin'. He's just 29 years old. He was in the NFL from 2019 through 2022. And here's the connection to Aaron Glenn. His first 3 years in his career were with the Detroit Lions. So they overlapped in 2021. He has been, at least last year, he was an assistant quarterback coach for the Washington staff. Clearly, they liked the job that he did. I'm assuming worked well with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels goes on and has an absolutely wonderful, wonderful rookie season, one of the best rookie seasons from a quarterback that we've ever seen. And again, on the Jet side of things, like, yeah, is he a little bit on the younger side? Sure. And I think he would still need to add some veterans to this offensive staff, but clearly, you know, he's someone who's played in the league and made an impression, and that's the direction that a lot of these quarterback coaches are going. They're a lot younger, and it's someone who's played at the NFL level before, and clearly they have done made a good enough impression where they come out of the league as a player and instantly go in as a coach. So I thought that was an interesting one. And then the big one is obviously the defensive coordinator spot. And offensive coordinator is clearly big too. We talked a lot about that one. But happening tonight is Aaron Glenn will be interviewing veteran defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. And I am a really big fan of this hire for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn said in a potential hire. I hope that this ends up being the hire. I like this idea because Aaron Glenn has specifically said he will not call plays on the defense. Steve Wilks has that ability. He's done it before throughout his career. He was a head coach for a year in Arizona in 2018. He went one and done there. He had Josh Rosen as his quarterback. Josh Rosen went one and done there as well. He was an interim in 2022 in Carolina over the final 12 games and actually did a pretty good job. Carolina went 6-6 after they moved on from Frank Reich. And then in 2023, he was San Francisco's defensive coordinator, and he had them 8th in yards and 3rd in points allowed. The interesting thing is, at least to my knowledge, there hasn't been any overlap between Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks in Glenn's coaching career or playing career. But I like that this is the approach that's being taken. There needs to be a mix of young up-and-coming guys. And sure, you're going to have people in positions they've never been before. For instance, if David Blau is elevated to a quarterback coach, that would be new. You might have a first-time play caller as well as your offensive coordinator. But adding veterans to this staff, Steve Wilks would be one of those guys. I know Todd Haley's name has been brought up a ton for some sort of position on the offensive staff. I like that idea. I really do. I think it's important to have a good mix. I think, unfortunately, for Robert Saleh, they didn't really have anyone to fill that role as the guy who's been on a bunch of staffs before and could guide a regime through their first steps. And I think Steve Wilks can be that for Aaron Glenn, and someone like Todd Haley could be that on the offensive side of the ball. So very interested to see when these hires officially come out. but just wanted to give you the updates on where we are in the New York Jets coaching search, because it goes just beyond the head coach. Got to find the coordinator on both sides of the ball. Got to fill out positional coaches. So we'll react to those as those come out. But just wanted to let you guys know, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.